They just left the stage. But the world still hasn't recovered. The lights may have dimmed, the music may have stopped, but what happened that night continues to echo across the globe. Because this wasn't just a concert by BTS. It was a moment that felt bigger than music itself. Right after the final song ended, something unusual happened. No one moved. Tens of thousands of fans stood frozen, as if trying to hold onto the moment just a little longer. The cheers slowly turned into emotional waves. Some screaming, some crying, some simply standing in silence, overwhelmed by what they had just witnessed. Because deep down, everyone knew this wasn't just a comeback. This was history. The energy in Seoul that night was unlike anything seen before. At Gwangwamun Square, the crowd became a sea of purple lights, stretching as far as the eye could see. It wasn't just a visual. It was a symbol of loyalty, patience, and love that had been building for years. And when the members appeared on stage earlier that night, the world exploded. But what happened after the concert might be even more powerful. As the members stood together, catching their breath, exchanging glances, something shifted. The energy became softer, more emotional, more real. One by one, they began to speak, not as global superstars, but as 7 individuals who had been through years of pressure, expectations, separation, and growth. And then there was a pause. A silence that felt heavier than any sound. That's when Jungkook stepped forward, the youngest member, now standing with a presence that felt completely different. His voice was calm, but his eyes told another story. There was emotion there, gratitude, relief. He looked at the crowd, took a breath, and smiled. A simple smile, but one that instantly broke the hearts of millions watching. Because in that moment, it wasn't about perfection anymore. It was about sincerity. He spoke softly, thanking the fans who had waited, acknowledging the years that had passed. And without needing dramatic words, he made something very clear. They never forgot, and they never will. Around him, the other members stood close, some smiling, some holding back tears, some simply watching the crowd as if trying to memorize every single face. Because this moment would never come again in the same way. The concert itself had already delivered everything fans could have dreamed of. Powerful performances, iconic songs, new stages that left the audience in shock. Every movement, every note, every second was filled with energy that felt almost unreal. Fans sang every lyric, loud, proud, together. It didn't matter where they came from, Korea, Japan, Indonesia, America, Europe. In that moment, everyone became one. One voice, one heartbeat, one story. And yet, the most unforgettable part wasn't the performance. It was the feeling, that quiet understanding that after years of waiting, they were finally back together again. As the members prepared to leave the stage, they didn't rush. They stayed. They waved. They looked around as if trying to hold on to every second. Because they knew, just like the fans knew, this moment meant everything. Behind the stage, the atmosphere remained emotional. Staff members watched silently, some smiling, some wiping tears, because they, too, understood the weight of what had just happened. This wasn't just another successful concert. This was a turning point, a new beginning, and from that moment, everything changed. Within minutes, clips from the concert flooded the internet. Social media exploded. Hashtags related to BTS dominated worldwide trends. Millions of posts, reactions, and messages appeared almost instantly. People weren't just talking about the performance. They were talking about how it made them feel. Because BTS doesn't just perform. They connect. They create moments that stay with you. Moments that feel personal. Moments that feel real. And that's exactly what happened that night. As news spread, fans who couldn't attend live began watching clips, live streams, and recordings. And even through a screen, the emotion was still there. Strong, undeniable, powerful. Because what BTS created wasn't limited to one location. It was global, and it didn't end when the concert ended. In fact, it was just the beginning. Because this concert marked the start of something much bigger, A world tour that is already being described as one of the largest in music history. Cities are preparing. Tickets are disappearing within minutes. Fans are planning trips across countries just to be part of it. Because after witnessing what happened in Seoul, no one wants to miss what comes next. And at the center of it all, Jungkook continues to stand as a symbol of this new era. Not just as the youngest member, but as an artist who has grown, evolved, and stepped into a role that carries global attention. And yet, despite all of that, he remains the same. Humble, sincere, connected. That's what makes this story so powerful. Because behind the success, the global recognition, there are still 7 individuals who remember where they started, who remember the fans who stood by them, who understand that every stage, every song, every moment is shared together. As the world now looks ahead to their next performances, one thing is certain. What happened at this concert was not just a comeback. It was a reminder of their power, their influence, their connection with millions of people around the world. And most importantly, a reminder that their story is far from over. Because if this is how they returned, imagine what comes next. And maybe that's why, even after everything ended, no one was ready to let go.